Welcome to the JALTCALL podcast. I'm your host for the day, Brian Gallagher, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about the JALT International Conference. So we were there at the weekend, and we want to just give you some quick notes and feedback from a few of the people that were there, and to give you an idea of what happened at the conference.
Hi everybody, this is Jeff Carr at Asahikawa City University in Hokkaido. I'm the JALTCALL Program Chair and a proud member of the JALTCALL podcast team.
Hello everyone, this is James York, Chair of the 2026 JALTCALL Conference.
See you there.
So the forum that we had at the JALT International Conference was immediately after the opening speaker, which probably wasn't the best time to have a forum, because after an opening speaker, people usually want to try and get on and get out and see some presentations. So for us, unlucky the timing this year, there wasn't that many people in the audience, but there was enough people to get involved. And we did do well to have those people come on, join in with us. They came onto the stage. We had Brick and Alex that joined us, and we had our debate, which was a good idea. And with some practice and preparation, it could be worth doing again. We had 2 large sofas and 2 coffee tables on the stage, gave it a very relaxed feel, very much like I think a forum should be. So I was very happy for us really just not to have those hard school chairs that we often sometimes get at venues. But I think next time we're going to have more slides, and we're going to have more time for showing and sharing, and for us as we navigate the time. Jeff did a great job on managing us through it all, and Robert Dykes took some great photos that we're hoping to share when we can get a hold of them. And we're going to have Jeanette is going to tell us a little bit. She was on the panel, and we'll hear it from her own words what she thought about with her debate. Okay, enjoy.
Okay, I'm Jeanette Dennisson, and I joined the JALTCALL Forum on November 1st. And I just want to give you a little bit of perspective of how that went and explain my viewpoints. We divided up into teams arbitrarily to discuss the integrity of academic writing on human authorship. And this was very interesting, timely topic. Should AI be helping us with academic writing, and at what levels with the students and teachers involved, and all aspects of that? I was on the opposing side, meaning I was for AI having the main authorship of our academic works versus having the human as the main author. This discussion was very complicated. We all agree that humans should basically maintain some sense of authorship. In general, I thought the formatting of the debate, which was a very formal debate style, if you're aware about that, run by Jeff Carr and Robert Dykes, was really well done and organized. And it gave each of the debaters some time to share their thoughts from different perspectives and different backgrounds. However, it was just a little intimidating for me because it was my first time to do a formal style debate. But I did enjoy the opportunity to give my opinion in a structured way, where I also got to hear other panel members' opinions, and then also allowed the audience members to voice their opinions and question us. And we did get some really hard questions from them that challenged our thinking and challenged our definition of things like even integrity, what is authorship. So we as the panelists had to really think about that as we defended our side of the argument. And I personally formed a more solid understanding of the role of AI in writing as a panelist being up there, and I really appreciate the lively discussion from everybody. And I recommend we do this format in the future, and definitely encourage the audience members to participate. We did actually invite 2 members to join us on the panel, so they were also a little unprepared, but they also provided another perspective that the initial panelists did not have. So we really appreciate all the participation, and we hope that the further discussion in the future continues, both from our side and from those in our immediate environments. I look forward to seeing you guys at JALTCALL in 2026 and Nishinomiya in Kobe. We're going to have a really interesting program trying to incorporate all different levels of education, all different backgrounds of people, young learners, people who are struggling in their academic world as well as their teaching world, and try to get really different perspectives and try to solve some of the things that we're facing with AI and other technologies in the modern world of academia. Really appreciate this opportunity to talk to you guys. Good luck and hope to see you soon.
Hello everyone, this is James York, one of the chairs for the JALTCALL 2026 conference. I was at the JALT National Conference at the weekend to be on the JALTCALL forum, where we attempted to host a debate, which is I think a first for our SIG. Normally at these forum sessions we have 4 or 5 speakers talk about their particular context to try and get some eyeballs on or some knowledge of what call scholars are doing. But this time we attempted something new. So my take on the debate, how did it go from my perspective? Personally, I think we could have used the time better. It was a good attempt. I had fun doing the debate, but I think it might have been interesting to just field questions from the audience. Why do I say that? Well, before we even started the debate, we had a question, or at least Jeanette approached one of the members of the audience to say, why are you here? What do you want to get out of this? And this particular member said that he was interested in learning how he can better utilize AI in his teaching context. I think that fielding questions like this would have been a good use of our time, and perhaps have a discussion with the rest of the audience, the wider audience, rather than amongst ourselves. So that's my true, honest opinion of the debate itself. But how did it actually go? Well, it went pretty well. I was on the team that was defending the humans, and we were fighting against, or debating against, I should say, the team that was trying to defend AI. And I think our team won. Well, yeah, we did actually win at the end. But apart from that, I think that the fact that we got 2 audience members to come up onto the stage and sit on the sofas with us and participate in the debate made it a good experience, both for us and for the audience. We also fielded a number of questions from the audience during the debate, which actually helped us understand what we were debating about, really. The topic was, the integrity of academic writing in SLA depends on human authorship. And there were a couple of things that the audience posited or wanted to ask us in order to clarify our own or sharpen our own understanding of this question. For example, the term integrity. How do we define that? We need a solid understanding or a solid definition of this in order to actually debate it. Again, what is human authorship? How do we define that as well? So I think not being an expert at debate and not nailing down these definitions at the start perhaps hindered our attempt to talk to each other in terms of defending this and attacking this particular statement.
Thanks very much, James.
Thanks again.
Here's a quick message from Bricklin Zeff. He's president of JALTCALL Hokkaido chapter. He joined us on the forum. Take it away, Brick.
I think this is a really important question. What does integrity mean when AI is part of the writing process? For me, it's not about banning AI or pretending it doesn't exist. It's here, and it's part of our students' world. The real question is how we use it. Most of my students are at a A1 or A2 level, so what I want from them isn't a perfectly polished essay. What I want is understanding. That they know how to write a topic sentence, how to build a paragraph, how to express an opinion clearly, how to finish with a solid conclusion. I also want them to understand the basic structures of an essay. Things like capitalization, punctuation, paragraphing, those fundamentals matter. AI can absolutely help with that. It can show examples, give feedback, even help them see how grammar works in context. But the key thing is that they have to do the thinking, the critical thinking. They have to come up with the ideas, organize them, learn to express them. In my writing course, students go through a process, brainstorming, outlining, drafting, revising, and finally, they sit in front of a blank page and write an essay from scratch. That's where you see the real authorship, right? If they've engaged in that process, the final piece is generally theirs. And honestly, even if AI writes everything in the future, someone will still need to proofread it. AI makes mistakes, sometimes big ones. So developing those human writing and editing skills still matter. So yes, AI is a useful tool, and it's here. But the integrity of academic writing still comes from the human mind. It's their thought, their understanding, their voice that makes it authentic.
So at the conference, we also had our JALTCALL SIG podcast workshop that we had. And we had about a dozen people, which was good. But unfortunately, the venue's Wi-Fi was very, very poor, which made it extremely challenging. But that being said, we entertained the people there, and they all made small recordings, learned about Audacity. I think for us, it's very difficult to trust in a venue, not knowing. Doing a workshop is something we all kind of worried about. But Jeff had his pocket Wi-Fi, which saved the day, and people could actually make the recordings and they could have a play about with Audacity. So this is something we're going to try and look at. And I think we're going to try and do a bit more in the future. That's us with our JALTCALL podcast. Here is a quick word from Chelanna White, Director of Programme at JALT, giving her thoughts on the JALT conference.
For me, the conference is always a really busy time. There's lots of running around, from building to building, trying to find a certain person to solve a particular problem. But that's really fun too. There's a certain joy in being part of things from behind the scenes, to get to see the inner workings and to help put a conference on, to support the conference team during the running of the actual conference. Like, all of this hard work finally comes together and I get to be a part of that. That's really cool. Even if that means that I don't get to see very many presentations, because I'm always running around. But there's something special about seeing people that you know in the hallways, or running to and from different places and seeing people and waving and catching up. And for me, that's really the best part of the conference. Sure, research is important. That's what we do. That's what we're all really here to do, to share, to learn. But I don't get to see very much of that. So it's really more about supporting the people who are there to do that. You know, even if it's a simple, "Hey, how's it going?" as you're passing by, it really becomes about the community behind the research rather than the research itself. For me, at least in my perspective, from what I see of the conference. And yeah, I think that's a really neat vantage point that I'm very lucky to have, and can't wait to do it again next year.
Are you stuck at work in February and just looking for a way to get out of the office? Maybe you're looking for a fun travel destination during your time off. Well, look no further than the SUTLIF 2026 conference. That's the Soju University Teaching and Learning Forum down in Kumamoto City, February 12th, 13th, and 14th. This 3-day event has its main sessions on Friday, with fun events Thursday and Saturday to justify that 4, maybe even 5-day expense trip away from the office. This is our special 10th anniversary, and to celebrate, we're bringing in keynote panelists from across southern Kyushu. Thursday night's event is BYOP, that's Bring Your Own Poster. We'll have some drinks, appetizers, and then everyone's encouraged, though not required, to bring in an A4 or A3 poster to spark some conversations. This is different from the vetted poster session we'll have on Friday, though if you want to bring that same poster in on Thursday night, that's fine too. After the main conference on Friday, Sojo will shuttle us down to our networking dinner. It's always full of great food and great conversations. Saturday morning, we'll have a castle tour. Kumamoto Castle is one of the big 3 castles of Japan, so if you haven't seen it yet, now's your chance. The call for proposals is open now. The link is in the description, or just search for us. That's Sutlef, SUTLF 2026, and should be the first thing that pops up. All right, that's all from me. We'll see you in February.
That's all from us from the JALT conference in Tokyo in 2025. Join us later in the month for our first joint interview with Aero Forsyth and Stephen McWhinney from Hirosaki Gakuin University. See you next time on the JALTCALL podcast.